So first question is, what is Terraform? Now, when I say Terraform, basically using Terraform, the code for infra. Yeah. Yes, again code for infra. Now, next question is, okay, what's there in infra? So if you look at this in infrastructure, we have AWS, we have Google Cloud, you have Azure, and many things which you have in the infra. Let me show you here. We have Terraform providers, we call it. So here, look at this. This is the providers which you call it. So all these things you have in the infra. Look at the number of list which you have, 2854. So these are the things we have in infra, and basically you want to code for infra. That means here when I say code means here it should be one coding standard, okay, and then one language, but it should be for all, yeah. So now it should be easy to what do you say, easy to learn, debug, test, extend, and all this stuff. So this coding, the code which we are going to teach you, it should easy to learn, debug, test, and extend. So yeah, using the Terraform, we are doing the coding for infrastructure. Again, infrastructure, you have so many tools and so on. Now this is from the company which is called HashiCorp. Okay, so this is the company we developed. Now it's written in Golang, and here you have community editions also, and plus enterprise also we have it. Now we say community editions, basically it's a command line, and enterprise editions we have a website and something like that. We do have a cloud versions also. Okay, so if you want to use it, you can also go ahead and start using it. So now I'm going to teach you community edition, which is more than sufficient for writing a code for infrastructure. So now how to install it? Now, because you know that now this tool is written in Golang, so this is compatible with all the operating systems, Windows, Linux, Mac, or whatever it is. So just put it up this one in the Google and just say download, and this URL you have it. So you can download for Mac, Windows, Linux, and all operating system. Now what I have done, it's just executable copy. So what I have done, I have copied under the tools, which is here, C drive and tools, Terraform. I downloaded it and copy this. That's all. And then this one, this path, I set it up in the environment variable, so that you know how to set in the path environment variable. So here, edit. See that here somewhere here. That's all. So once you're done with it, after that you can create one directory. Okay, and here today something like that, and go to the command line and just type Terraform to validate whether installation is good or not. And now these are the commands which anyways most of the command I'll teach you, but this is something which you have to get into that. Are you understanding all of you so far? Any questions? Okay.
Yes.
So now next thing is how it works. So that is very simple. You need to understand how it works. So how the Terraform, the code which you write, can code for entire infrastructure which has thousands of tools actually. How can it be possible? So architecture we need to understand. So let's put it in a very simple way. Okay, and here this is you. and you have, this is you, and you write a code. This code, the code which you are writing, this code is in HCL standard. HCL means HashiCorp configuration language. Now I'll show you that, very easy to understand. It's not a very big deal. So you write a code in HCL, and this code you write for all of your infrastructure, which can be AWS, GitHub, Kubernetes, or whatever you want. It's up to you. Now, how to write a code, I'll teach you. Now, this code you send to Terraform. So Terraform is one executable. That's I showed you here. See that? Okay, so you send to executable and saying that, hey, either you create resources, or either you update resources, or delete resources. Okay, so three things you do that, and reading I'll teach you later. CRUD, remember that CRUD concept? So create and update is done through apply command, Terraform apply. Okay, and here delete of the resources is done through the destroy resources. Okay, are you understanding, all of you? Terraform destroy. Okay, so this is the Terraform. Now the problem here is you have written a code in the here for AWS also, Google Cloud also, and Kubernetes also. So this code has to be sent to AWS, Google Cloud, and Kubernetes. So how they can send this code to this provider, so the infrastructure creations can happen. So they're using API. So these all are API call actually. Okay, Google Cloud supports API, AWS supports API, Kubernetes supports API. So all these things has to support an API. So what to do? So now what happens? This code this code is sent to this API and this API and this API. But the problem here is the code which you have written, that this API don't understand that. Okay, so what to do? So then in this case, there is one more executable which is we call it a plugin. AWS plugin, Google Cloud plugin, and Kubernetes plugin. How to get this plugin? This plugin is nothing but executable only. Okay, so what Terraform is doing, you write all this code in one go, and Terraform is sending this code as per their provider, and this provider make a call to API, and then a request is being made saying that, hey, create a EC2, VPC, this, that, and what kind of things. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so now what is happening? So you write a code, you send to Terraform, apply or destroy. Terraform send this code to the plugins. These plugins convert this code to the API friendly code and send to API of AWS, Google Cloud, or Kubernetes. And then whatever the response which you have, which API generate, it's stored in the one file. This is called state file. This state file you have in a JSON format. Always response is always received in JSON. Okay, so this is the architecture of Terraforms. What we need to do, we need to first install Terraform, which you did it. Then we need to install this plugin. I'll teach you. Then we need to write a code, and then we need to apply and destroy, and this JSON file will be created. Simple. Understood, all of you? Understood, all of you?
Did you say apply and delete also? Destroy?
So apply and destroy.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the workflow. So first thing which I did it, install the Terraform. Now can I install the provider also? So some of the questions is like how to store TF code. Very simple answer. File name .tf. This is the something. Now here understand that this is a very important statement. In one directory, all TF file is considered one project. Okay, in one directory. That means you have, let's say, 10 file, and if you're thinking, oh, I have a 10 file, different files. No, for Terraform it's a one project. During the runtime, they consolidate, they combine all the 10 files and make it a one file, and then send it to the different providers. Okay, so you can have any file. So I'll come here and create one file. Name of the file can be anything. So here I'm keeping the providers .df. Okay, so now I created a file. This is the coding, the place. Now the thing is, how do we download the providers? So I will ask provider itself. Hey provider, please tell me how can I download. So they are supposed to tell me. So AWS is a very popular provider. Again, Kubernetes is a very popular provider. Many depends on your use cases. GitHub also, I'll go for it. And here this is the popular provider. So how do we work with it? So I'll ask them. These are the documentations. Okay, so always refer official documents only, because there are lots of changes happening. Google might not give you the right one. Okay, so this is the line which I need to copy in order to download the provider. But if you want to lock the versions of provider, then upcode is also needed. So can we do this? So here I'll just open up this file and done. So this code will help me to download the provider of AWS. Hard coding is done here. Okay, so can we run this? So how do we download the provider? So this is a one-time activity. You will run this Terraform in it. Remember that. When you want to download any provider, you have to run Terraform in it. This will download the provider and executable only, and will be there in your machines. So just wait for a few seconds. It will come. Okay, so now I got it. Now I'll show the directory where it got downloaded. So here it's a hidden directory, providers, here HashiCorp, AWS, and here it is. This is the provider. Okay, so you download it through the code and command init. Okay, so now I want to add another provider also. It's a GitHub. So similarly, I'll copy this and one more. Now this code, if I copy, it will become a duplicate code here, because Terraform section is already there. So what do we do in this case? So I'll just copy this one under this here. So that way it will be good, and delete this. So I've got a two provider and version is also locked. So one is already downloaded, second one also I'll download this, which is a GitHub provider. Okay, so now if you see that here, you got the Terraform also, you got the provider also. Okay, are you comfortable so far?
Got one question, Rajesh. How does it authenticate with the cloud provider?
We'll discuss that. Okay.
Okay.
So
okay.
then now we'll have to write a coding. This is the part. Okay. So what to do? So now next question is how to write the code. Now let me tell you guys, because you are doing the infra coding, you need to know the providers much in advance. For example, when I say provider, that means, let's say if you're writing a code for AWS, then you should know in and out about the AWS. If you're writing code for Azure, you should know about Azure. Google Cloud, Docker, and for all provider, the rules is same. So if you look at this, these all are API call. So in API world, what we do, let's say AWS is a provider and they have a resources. They have a more than 5,000 resources. And then these resources means what? For example, EC2 instance. Okay, that's the one resources. Okay, so when you create a EC2 instance, you have to give some parameters also, right? So that you call it a parameters or attribute, something like that. Okay, and so on. So this is a resource. So this is how you write. What you want, this is a block actually. Resource, what are the parameters? Let me put it up one. So by the way, for creating a EC2, what are the parameters required? Anyone have idea?
EMI name, instance type, region.
Correct, yes.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.